usually ask all questions, both comfortable and uncomfortable, and then all officials of the ANC will then join in response. We'll start by the first respondent will be the Deputy Secretary, then the Secretary, then the Deputy Chair, and then the the Chairperson of the province will be the last. But in an event, if there are 2 or 3 questions, Mamono Balawe Women's League directed to the Women's League will also afford members of the media that opportunity. So for us, this is more of an informative session. We are not intending to make it to be too formal. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let us allow the Provincial Secretary of the ANC to come and give us the paper of the day.
No, thanks very much, Comrade Mafila, our spokesperson. Greetings to the leadership of the ANC, led by Comrade Mtomin. Greetings to the newly fresh leadership of the ANC Women's League, led by its Deputy Chairperson, Comrade Mali Fraser, Provincial Secretary Vamaso Kabaste, and Deputy Secretary Amayanga Yanga. Greetings to our guest, Mr. Kipiera from the Growth Coalition, and all our friends. Greetings to the members of the media. We are not going to waste your time. We have called this media breakfast that the provincial chair of the ANC delivers some milestones that the ANC in the province has achieved since July last year, and also share some perspective on how the ANC seeks to change the lives of the people of KwaZulu-Natal, but also gives you an opportunity to ask critical questions, because you are one of the various fundamental institutions for accountability and transparency in our country. When we do our work, you are there to watch our work, you are there to make us accountable. You are the fundamental pillar that supports democracy. As a ruling party, we ought to know the responsibility bestowed on the soldier, on the soldiers. Now, I know that some of you, when they meet me, they sometimes face heated moments, because I'm also not, I'm not soft. When you interact with the process, you must know you meet your mesh. But it's because of those times. There are heated moments, there are good moments. That's how life works. It's not always good, even in marriage. Those of us who are married, we know that at times there will be those bad days, there will be good days. Then I will therefore allow Umtombeni Ingane Kamamacele to speak with us on behalf of the ANC. Comrade Mtombeni.
Thank you so much, Program Director, Comrade Ngwane Mafiga. Thank you so much, Comrade Provincial Secretary, for those kind words. Revolutionary greetings to our Deputy Chair, Comrade Nomagugu Smelane Makuchwa. Balekile indaba amagama siya entweni ezicritical. We must be familiar who is leading the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Comrade Deputy Secretary of our beloved province, Comrade Sipho Hlomuga. They are also carrying different caps. Comrade Nomagugu is the MEC responsible for health in our province of KwaZulu-Natal. Comrade Hlomuga is currently responsible for community safe and transport in the province. In our midst, we've already been told that the gigantic organization has leaks And over the last 4 days in ICC, there was a huge political school called the Women's League Congress. It has yielded some positive result in the form that in our midst we've got to combat Mbalenhle Fraser Mashezi, who's been elected the deputy chair in the last Congress. She's also responsible of the development of the youth in the province of KwaZulu in the form of Department of Education. The Congress has also elected Comrade Samaso Kabase, who hails from eThekwini, is the new provincial secretary of the Women's League. eThekwini, she's also responsible, she's the councillor at eThekwini municipality, so she's basing a show and ensuring that service delivery does take place. Then last we've got the Deputy Secretary of the Women's League, Comrade Figile Masiko, who's a Member of Parliament, and he's making us proud of that. We've already been told that Andrew Kupiela from the Broad Coalition is here. Members of the media, political analysts and progressive students, greetings this morning. Usually, if you meet during breakfast, you're supposed to be breaking the fast. So it means that you're supposed not to have been eaten from yesterday, but I'm sure some of you may have slept around 4 o'clock, so you're no longer breaking the fast, you're doing something else, but it is still the breakfast. We still take it like that. Before I proceed, I'm glad that Comrade Langamanda has highlighted that Comrade Mtolo. Comrade Mtolo is a big softie. He is portrayed someone very frank, very vigilant, but he's got a good heart. So the 40th state must understand him in that way. He does the same to us as the deployees of the ANC. In fact, you are lucky enough if you can just zoom and check in your phone. He will always give you less than a minute. He does give instruction. When you try to respond, this phone is always gone already. So you must understand that. And if you think that you were in loggerhead with him, tough luck to you, because by the time you talk to him an hour later, he has forgotten that there was a quarrel of some sort. So I hope today that we interact with media. You also understand our personality, because we differ, and dimensionally we ought to be developing the people. Revolutionary greetings to you and to those who are following us on social media platforms. We're also greeting them. Wishing to express our appreciation to all of you, your constructive criticism and support. Each day, ordinary members of society are demonstrating their deep love for the ANC. They are saying they expect nothing from the ANC leaders other than solutions to socio-economic challenges. We offer not to disappoint ANC members and ordinary members of society. We expect a lot from ANC and its leaders. It is vital, important that ever since we assumed office, we have worked well with members of the media. It is therefore important that when we finish a year in office, we come back and reflect to our work, and we're glad the role that is played by Comrade Mafika Ndebele, who is someone who grew up from the ranks of the ANC youth, but is able to adapt nicely and interact nicely. The cordiality, the camaraderie spirit that comes from him oozes a nice relationship between ourselves and the 40th state. Not only because we are approaching the general elections, but because as the nation we are also celebrating 10 years of our freedom and democracy. What has been the recurring effect of the new dispensation? These major milestones mean that each day of the week we need to draw inspirations from all progressive forces who brought about this freedom and democracy. They worked in concert to achieve one goal of liberating the people of this country from the yoke of oppression. By and large, our work over the past year has been a culmination of our efforts to realize the vision of men and women who dreamed of a prosperous country. As a current generation of leaders, our responsibility is to turn from political freedom at our disposal into an economic freedom for the majority. We remain convinced that our revolutionary task is to use state resources for the benefit of mother at Mbende in Pietermaritzburg, a father at Mthwalume Umzumbe, Lena at Umlaza eThekwini, a grandfather in Nongoma, a grandmother in Ngwelezane. So that is our obligation, that is our duty. Let me try and turn focus issues of good governance as championed by the ANC, the province of KwaZulu-Natal. When we took office, this province was going through economic challenges and created by ravaging COVID-19, as we all know, the devastating floods which destroyed our economy and social infrastructure respectively. We must tell the truth and account to our masters of the message that national government has transferred almost 2.3 billion for a Tewini municipality and Watubuza. So we had to account, we ought to make sure that the expenditure part in, because our people are expecting a lot from us. So we are waiting that this municipality must start the process of rolling back that money of what is due to our masters. This then called for a number of strategic interventions on the part of ruling part. First, that they needed to create an image of a responsible government that is accountable, committed to clean governance and response to the needs of our people. We wish to state to report that the Auditor General of South Africa has heaped praises of ANC-led government for achieving clean audits for financial year 2022-2023. The following departments have been highlighted as attend the clean audits: the OTP Office of the Premier, Economic Development, Provincial Treasurer, Cooperative Government, Community Safety and Housing, then the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. We are just mindful and highlighting these clean audits because it is always clear that when we do this sampling, our books must be in order. But we know that our people in rural areas, our people in township, they don't consume the clean audit. As much as we want to balance this equation, but what is more critical is the service delivery of our people, is how we make sure in fast-tracking the process of changing their lives. As the ANC, our focus was to prioritize conservative of resources and shift budgets to ensure service delivery. What we have successfully done as the ANC is to ensure the integration of service involvement government departments. We use the district development model involving national, provincial department and municipality. We have successfully maximized all the available resources and removed the silo mentality in the civil society and in the civil service. This also means that an effort had to be made to eliminate wastage in the government system. That way, government will effect savings that will be channeled to areas of need. As the current generation of leaders, our responsibility is to turn political freedom at our disposal into an economic freedom for the majority. As you know, that freedom means free from dominion. We know that we're coming from a Eurocentric approach, which means that almost everything coming from them should be superior. The ideological understanding that their systems are better than ours. We are currently contesting even that understanding as we speak, so that we make the means of make sure that our people are okay. Ladies and gentlemen, also wish to highlight the fact that as ANC have also decided to provide a program of action that ensures that regions and local structures are involved in service delivery programs. We've embarked on community outreach programs in various parts of the province. We have started, we can just give you a report that we have directly interacted with thousands of communities in various wards in Tolomane Mnyaiza, that is Ugu district, according to government. We have interacted with Kizenga Mbanza, which is the area that comprises of Stenga, in particular the Watubuza local municipality. We've interacted with Herikwala, we've interacted with Moses Mabita, which is Mgumulovu district, just to name a few. We are satisfied with encouragements with the young and engagements with the young and old, the urban and the rural. The people in these regions have stated unequivocally that the ANC remains their part of choice. They vow to continue to place their trust in the organization of OR Tambo as the only vehicle for the transformation of their lives. They acknowledge changes, challenges faced by the organization as the governing party, and they were robust in their demands for immediate interventions from BEC members, regional and provincial and national leaders. We have stated that our position as the ANC is that this is the time for ANC leadership to take responsibility for the failures and successes of government. And I'm sure you always even criticize us that when we have not done good, you always elevate those things, illuminate the bond. We are also craving for your indulgence that where we have gone and done a good job, it must also be reflected as such, because we ought to change the service for the betterment of our people. Our visit to regions are also followed by the visit by MECs through Operation Sumasaka. In terms of the cabinet, we have agreed to strengthen this visit because ordinary members of society have openly appreciated the visit of the ANC leadership and ANC provincial government. There is more focus on the strengthening of job creation, ensuring provision of water, electricity, crime prevention and efforts. To ensure that there is no one left behind, the PC has resolved that ANC employees across all spheres of government must continue to visit communities as part of the rollout of district model. Our view as we are seated here as the ANC is that in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, some of the things might be cumbersome, but whatever we agreed, we must never have a no-go area. When we start with the process of election, there is no need for no-go zone. So it is the things that when we talk about political tolerance, it must be understood in that way. The Office of the Provincial Secretary has ensured the successful coordination of meetings of alliance partners. In KZN, we now have an alliance that is vibrant, seized with matters of service delivery. This is progress worth celebrating and mentioning, because over the last 8 years, there was no synchronage. The thrust and the principle of us working together as the alliance, it has started. The past weekend, alliance partners were in Umlazi, the Tebweni region, as part of Provincial Alliance Community Outreach. We agreed that alliance partners must be part of ongoing assessment of the performance of government, which they assisted in terms of ensuring that it is put in place to service of our voters. We have recognized the important role of alliance partners toward the attainment of the following outcomes. We've named a few: crime-free KwaZulu-Natal, where all communities feel safe. Province of KwaZulu-Natal must still be characterized and defined as the most welcoming destination in the entire diaspora, SADC in particular. So, because we ooze with safari, 600 kilometers of coastlines, we've got nice mountains and 2 strategic areas that are recognized in the world: adequate access to water, electricity, other basic services, decent houses for all, welfare for vulnerable, food security, improved education and skilled population, responsive leadership, healthy communities through sport and recreation, thriving rural and township economies, increased support for small business in the formal sector, access to economic opportunities and job creation. As alliance partners, we have agreed to hold accountable all leaders deployed by the ANC into different structures within the state. Our view is that the responsibility to ensure the ANC-led government delivers lies in the hands of alliance partners more than it does with the opposition. So it is our duty that we monitor this progress. And poverty, when we assume with the office, we declared poverty as public enemy number 1. We committed to throw all of our weight behind poverty eradication, and as we speak, we are facing with this big animal of inflation and repo rate, which is untenable for our poor people in rural communities and township in particular. So, as this caring government, we still have to create an enable environment for those people. So, from time to time, we'll be inviting stakeholders, the practitioners, economists, just to sit down, assemble a strategy. How do we address such imbalances? Because as the inflation goes up, our people are no longer even affording something small as the cooking oil, the beans, the staple food, maize meal. So those are the issues that borders us as the ruling party. We wish to report that as ANC, we ensure that ANC government adopted a poverty eradication program and other interventions. Some of the targets we set for ourselves was to ensure that we reduce the percentage of households that are exposed to food insecurity. We have made progress in this regard through clear interventions by the government. Equally, when we assumed office, there was a full recognition that for economic growth to be meaningful in the future, the empowerment of indigenous Africans had to be at the top of provincial agenda, which is why you see across the board almost all 3 spheres of government, starting from national, provincial, and local municipality. Our issue has to do with how to eradicate poverty in the province of KwaZulu-Natal in particular. The most important and critical area of our work on economic development was identifying the economic sectors that were better geared to respond to our effort. These sectors included, among others, agriculture as a sector, manufacturing as a sector, maritime, transport and logistics. On energy in particular, you know this day that the President has presented us with the new minister dealing with electricity, who must sleep, eat and live electricity each day when it comes. So we have started that process. We are glad to announce that at Richards Bay IDZ, before December, will already launch where we are going to be producing 455 megawatts gas to power, which is going to assist a lot of people in the province. If you don't know, 455 megawatts, it is the energy that can assist almost the country close as Namibia in terms of spectrum and size, and it is what we are going to do. And other municipalities like Etebu, they will also be producing their grid just to make sure that we satisfy the needs, and we complement and comprehend what's need to be coming from ESCOM as the major supplier. We're satisfied with the progress that we have made in this regard. The ANC provincial government will give a detailed report on the progress as part of marking Trader's 5 days in the office. On small business, another area that we focus on when we assume office was on small business. And as much as we want to see our big business get better, we also need to see more successful small, medium business as they are largest contributors to the new development on SMEs and co-ops. Our message as the ANC is that we are going back to township, to the general dealership and township business that characterized this country for many years. We have ensured that they are supported through Operation Vula Fund and many other instruments supporting the youth and women in business. We are focusing on small enterprise in the toilet paper manufacturing. We are assisting on the issue of bakeries. We are assisting in terms of plaza shop, and other departments are clear when it comes to the process of consumption. Health and education and development for agriculture are going to be ensuring that the value chain is part of what must be done. On coalition government, I know that many of you would like to know what is our position in relation to the collapse of service delivery in municipality and the impact of coalition to service delivery. As guided by the constitutions, we resolve that ANC government must act where we identify the collapse of governance and in some municipality. In the interest of communities, the PC mandated the ANC government to intervene where possible, take away certain powers from municipality when they track stress or where criminal investigations have been conducted and those suspected of wrongdoing have been charged. Mandated Comrade Premier Musa Duba MEC Kokta Comrade Bongis Tole Moloi Comrade Pekingonyen to develop a comprehensive turnaround strategy for provincial government and municipality. Of particular concern was the highest levels of irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure in Zuland District Municipality, King Echwayo, Utugela, Amajuba, Umzinyati, Alfred Duma, Abapulus, Newcastle and Ulundi Municipality, all led by corrupt IFP, if we can just put it bluntly in that way. It was highlighted in the municipal audit result that audit opinion movement has regressed in more than 10 municipalities. As we speak, we should be ensuring that those people are not compromised in terms of service delivery. So it is our duty as we do that. Proceed on coalition. Once we support intervention to aid coalition at local government level, the media must understand we maintain our position that the ANC do not need a coalition to govern in relation to 2024 general elections. So there is a method, there is a strategy, which is why it was critical that from time to time as the ANC, we also extend olive branch to other parties of how to govern a galvanized strategy on local municipality. But the issue of coalition, where we are seated, it ends there. Going towards 2024, the ANC, we are looking for a decisive victory, and we are campaigning to ensure that we win on almost all angles. And therefore, this has demanded a response that fully addresses of all these societal ills, the same societal ills that OR Tambo once fought so hard to eradicate. We have high unemployment soaring to levels as seen during apartheid. Inequality is the worst in the whole world. I've already spoken at least about food prices. Fuel are reaching uncontrollable high. Poverty has once again returned to decimate even those whose lives had improved at the end of apartheid. The issue of crime, violence, gender-based and feminine aggravated by alcohol, drug abuse has reached epidemic proportion. We ought to be dealing with those things, but at the level of society, because the issue of unity amongst our communities is sacrosanct. So we must know that we must build stronger families. We must assist the ruling party in ensuring that the moral decay in our communities will be assisted, because the issue of car hijacking, the issue of theft, the issue of what is currently happening, the drug usage, will only collapse if our families are stronger, if we command a proper height in ensuring that we assist South African Police Service, because the reality is that the offspring of who destroyed our cities, our malls, our shops, our national key points, they come from the families. So it is the families that must just manage those things. We've already spoken at length on the issue of quality of education. Our view is that as the ANC, our education system must be able to give every child an equal opportunity to develop the knowledge, skills, attitudes to make a positive contribution into society. It must, however, also be recognized that educational performance is influenced by community and family dynamics, and we are glad that in the last year, KwaZulu-Natal as a province performed very well in the matrix. It means that there is a developmental growth pattern that is also assisting on health, ensuring access to health care services has been one of the top priorities since we assumed our office. We are satisfied with the progress in relation to the building of new clinics, repurposing of district hospital into regional hospital, and this year we'll be opening one of the major milestones. Isibhedlela esakhiwe khona la eThekwini esiqanjwe ngenqalabutho uPixley Isaka Seme ezinye zezinto esiyozelevate sizenze sibe zinkulu. Human settlements, public waste, a lot of things that have been done in terms of bill of rights enjoyed us to ensure that citizens of KwaZulu-Natal have access to decent housing and live in areas where there are amenities, and we are dealing with those things. On agriculture, I've already highlighted some fundamental matters, that the issue of back to basic, the issue of mentorship, the issue of assisting our rural communities to treat to deep trends. I'm sure you have seen Comrade Super Zuma going to rural areas and giving them new genetics in terms of bone marrow bulls. Those are the strategic things that we are currently doing. I'm sure almost on a regular basis you come across with our Deputy Provincial Secretary, Comrade Lomuga, who's doing a nice progress on the construction of roads as well as repairing roads on damaged areas. We are even going to areas where ordinarily they thought that we are not going to build bridges. In fact, from now on, we've just given ourselves a target that 3 years from now, there is no child in KwaZulu-Natal who must be crossing a road because, or who's crossing a river because there is nothing he could do. So we are building all those access bridges as to make sure that we are fighting crime in rural areas, we are fighting crime in township, we are fighting crime in urban stream. Then we must also mention and highlight before the conclusion that ongoing interaction with leaders of faith and traditional leaders is something that this province is going to proceed. To date, we have ongoing interactions with religious leaders and traditional leaders through visits to churches, mosques, synagogues, and other cultural ceremonies. We've had a test visit to Inkosi Yamanaz and engagement with other leaders within Shembe Church. The ANC is grateful that Inkosi Yamanaz has always warmly welcomed them. Leadership, including President Cyril Ramaphosa. We donated building to churches in the Teguin and initiated by Teguin region. This was informed by our understanding that the ANC was established in a church. On our relationship with Isilo, Mrs. Zulu, Kapegu Zulu, we appreciate the support from traditional leaders, Amakos in Duna, Mamut, and many, many more. Through Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, led by our Treasurer, we continue to support cultural activities championed by His Majesty King Mrs. Ulgazweltin, Comrade Tutu will elaborate on more depth on some strategic thing. As we've already seen, as the ANC, we've visited a dance and the understanding. We've just created a new approach of ensuring that from now onwards we'll be thorough, we'll be vigor, we'll be holistic. Niobona and ANC that was built on the solid rock, and the Silos Associated to Denuzulu contributed is going to be part and parcel of ensuring that we revive that hegemony. In conclusion, as the ANC, we recognize the role of business to grow our economy. We recognize the role of organized labor to protect and promote productivity of our labor force. We recognize the role of civil society organization as people willing to do so for themselves and not just waiting for government to deliver. We recognize the role of institutions of organizations representing specific interest groups such as women, children, youth, and people with disabilities. We wish to pay tribute to all structures of the ANC and Alliance for the Revolutionary Guidance and robust engagement over the year. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we thank you so much for the time that you've afforded us. Thank you so much. Thank you for
No, asibonge Chairman. Thanks, Comrade Provincial Chairperson. Now, without wasting time, we'll allow members of the media, including students of political side of media who have joined us here, to ask questions, both the questions that were contained in the speech by the chairperson and other questions are allowed. I'm sure, Comrade Chairperson, some of ladies in the media had been asking me what I thought was not a critical question, and then it developed to be critical, whether you are married or not. I'm sure you will have to face all those questions and you will have to open up on them. So I will move maybe table by table. I will see by the indication of hand that we ask. And forgive me, I'm going to give you numbers. So if I say you are number 1, 2, 3, because I avoid to use name and not use name on others. I will start on this table. You will be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, then number 5, then we will be number 6. For now, let me take only those 6 hands. So number 1.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Pinalmi. I represent the Mercury newspaper. I just want to ask regarding section 154, the intervention that was announced it will take place in the table. There's been a statement in terms of that, and it's been speculated that ANC councillors were unhappy with this sort of intervention. Is it going to go ahead, or what's going to happen?
Thank you. Number 2.
Hi, my name is Ayanda Mzoli, and I'm the editor of the Daily News. I'd just like to first say thank you for the opportunity for the media to engage with the leadership of the ANC, and I hope that we can do more such constructive engagements going forward. My initial question is just based on your preparedness for the upcoming elections. We've seen over the years how membership and support has declined, especially in eThekwini, which has dropped to about 46%. And I know the chairperson of the province has gone publicly to state that they will, they don't need the Democratic Alliance and other opposition parties to govern the province. So how prepared are you, and how ready are you, and how sure are you that you are going to win the upcoming elections? Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, Chairperson, for the address. The work that has been done by the ANC needs to be commended. I am quite sure that the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal has, it's Pulan Dube of the YouTube channel, the Pulan Dube Show. My question is, I am quite sure that the ANC in KZN has at some point conducted a SWOT analysis as the election year approaches. What is it that you find to be your biggest threat as the election approaches? What is it that gives you sleepless nights? Thank you.
Yeah, maybe before we continue, just for information, we have already shared a speech by the chairperson to our media group. So for those who want to make a direct reference to the speech, you may continue. For that.
Thank you very much. My name is Sheila Mhlomo, publishing editor for KZN newspaper. My question is not very different from my other colleagues, but in KZN, as we are going towards the election 2024, what I want to find out is that there's a lot of loss of trust within the citizens of these countries, even here in KZN. Now I hear that even the president is very much not interested in the government coalition. And what I want to find out is that how is the ANC going to attract those voters who are no longer interested in the ANC, so that the ANC is able to rule without any coalition. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5.
Yes, thanks. My name is Clive Lowe. I'm representing the Witness newspaper.
Welcome back, Clive.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've always been touching base with the secretary, and so it's not completely true that I tried to boycott anything. Yeah, I would like to firstly, to actually appreciate, the level of confidence which is being shown by the ANC leadership in the province, is reflected by the chairperson, who says that actually, despite all the predictions that the ANC will go below 50% in next year's election, he's still confident that the party will will get an outright majority. So that should be commended, because I think in all aspects of society, confidence is very important. So yeah, and also one of the issues, I've just gone through the chairperson's statement. One of the, he's highlighting a number of achievements which this leadership have achieved since being elected last year. But some of them, even though I'm a journalist, when I read, it's the first time I'm hearing about them. And in my own experience and observation, it could talk about the level of the relationship which the ANC in KZN has with the media, and being able to ensure that all these positive things are highlighted in the media. And also, one can maybe attribute the distance between the ANC leadership and the media to the fact that when this very leadership was elected last year, they never made any attempt to meet the media and introduce themselves. The chairperson just alluded to the personality of the provincial secretary. To me, it was the first time to hear that he's this kind of a person, because I've never really met him. We never had a sit down and talk. So that distance, therefore, to us in the media was really very problematic, and it made it difficult for us to highlight the achievements of the ANC and its employees within government, because we even, at one point, there were rumors circulating that even the employees of the ANC in government were instructed not to talk to the media. So I just want to know, in terms of that relationship, that maybe could we take this event today as a sign that the ANC in the province is now taking this relationship seriously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 6.
Sanibona, igama lami nguNombongo Waphenyane kwaMsoleza. Umbuzo wami Chairperson namhlanje uzogxila kakhulu emahostela akhelithiwe. Sekunama-incident amaningi enzekile, but I will just tackle layer last week eyenzekile la kutholakala khona umshini wokwenzinhlamvu, and maningi ama-incident asenzekile amahostela around iTheku. As u-ANC asikaze sinibone niyakhona, as uhulumeni futhi asikaze sinibone niyakhona. Ithini plan yenu mhlawumbe ngamahostela okufiwa njalo kuwona, but asikaze sinibone ningenelele?
Siyabonga.
Ngiyabingelela egameni lenkosi umfeli wethu Jesu Kristu. Amen. igama uSandile Wamagoba from the podcast Affirmation. Ngiyamuzwa ngikhuluma indaba esibhedlela esisha lapha ePixel kaSeme. Right now esibhedlela esisha already sekunenkinga umphakathi wamasha bakhala ukuthi iqashwe ihlobo nangendlela esavulwa ngayo. So bengifuna nje ukubuza kwi-leadership ukuthi sebeyizwile izikhalo ezisona esibhedlela nanokuthi nangendlela okukhala ngayo ukuqashwa kukhona ukungenelela abanakho. Ngiyabonga. Amen.
Siyabonga. Is there any other hand that I'm leaving behind before I okay?
Good morning to the leadership of the ANC as well as the media colleagues. My name is Stephen Akanya, I represent the ANU's speaker. Mine is to make an appeal to the ANC leadership in the province to ask if there is anything that you could do to make the other departments in the legislation to be able to work in tandem or easily with media. Sometimes as journalists we strive quite a lot to get some comment from some departments. Some are of course easy to access, but some are very difficult. Thank you.
I think we'll then check if there is anyone from the officials of the ANC Women's League who want to respond. You are covered. We'll then.
There are 5 hours into office.
Yeah. They are still awaiting for induction. Yes. Provincial Deputy Secretary. Response.
Oh shit.
Good morning to everyone, leadership of the ANC, Women's League, the media. I think I will only respond on 2 matters. Maybe I just start with the one that the first one of Section 154 in eThekwini. For sure, whoever who raised it was not asking for a government, but was raising a question for the ANC. Because the ANC is in power in eThekwini, but working together with other political parties. So we are engaging with other political parties to ensure that there is good governance, and we are going to make sure that we engage the ANC-led government to support eThekwini Metro. Look, Section 154, there is nothing that we can say much about it. In terms of law, in terms of the Constitution of the Republic, provincial and national government have the responsibility to support local government. It's defined in the Constitution. So there's nothing that we can say there is a challenge. It's our responsibility. ANC or government, provincial and national, they support local government. Even if you don't send personnel, you just say these are the areas that we think a certain municipality, in this case, might be eThekwini Metro. We think we must support them to make sure that the Metro deliver access to our people. I think that's how, if maybe colleagues they want to add, they will also add. I'm saying, and then the second one is the issue of killings, Emma Hostel. It's not true to government, Emma Hostel. What government, Oye Hostel, Anatoly Ibam. I think to have a point of government. Our minister. So we have progress of operations unless you want a certain individual that you want to see, unless you tell us who that individual. However, government has a number of operations. Part of operations, Utema Hostela and Watola Lizaba, Agona local pair. They visited number of other hostels. And there is a program, as well as would assure them operations, because we have a responsibility to protect our people. But not only staff that can protect our people, but we must work together with community and other stakeholders or NGOs to ensure that our environment are protected. I think Lopara will deal with the issue of ANC membership declining. Be but for sure we know it's not only ANC members that vote for the ANC. For sure you know that the membership of ANC, even at national level, might not be less than 2 million, but they told them more than 6 million. But they may leave that to leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Let me invite the Provincial Secretary. Deputy Secretary.
No, thanks very much. When we elected, I think if you will notice, at the province of KwaZulu-Natal, African National Congress is one of those provinces that convenes mostly of its media briefings. And the only control we don't have is force people to come to those briefings. As it has happened in this media briefings, that even those who confirmed to come, but they decided not to come, then the relationship has been established to that level. The ANC membership is got various categories: membership in good standing, probation, in grace period. If you collect that membership in the membership system, the membership of the ANC in the province is above 200,000. And I can assure you, it's one of the biggest membership in the entire country of a single province. What we can do is to tell our strategies on how to win elections and arm the enemy. That would be too dangerous for us. You don't go to war and say how you're going to put your battalion. It's too dangerous. But what we can tell you is that those who analyze election results, because basically, while objectively they analyze the decline of the ANC, at least from 2014 in the main, they don't, mostly their reliance is on 2021 local government elections. But they are analyzing that decline outside objective factors that happened under that period. Among those objective factors is that the election was on Monday, which was a long weekend, but also it was under COVID-19 and people were literally scared to walk willy-nilly at that period. And then, as you know, that in any voting patterns, when there's a low voter turnout, because the ANC is a huge party, it happens to lose a lot of voters that didn't go to voting station. For example, in KZN, if you look on the election analysis, the two parties that you can say are big two parties, their voters that they received in 2021 combined, they are less than, they will need to unseat the ANC. They will need an extra million vote to unseat the ANC. And you would know, there's no way you can increase in election with 100%. They will need 100% increase, unfortunately. There is a pipe dream that they think they will unseat the ANC. They will not unseat the ANC. The ANC will keep them outside government. And when election results are announced, ICC will be there, and you will be there. When I'm issuing with those accreditation for the inauguration of a new premier in June 2024 of the ANC, I will be carrying accreditation to advise you, because that's what's going to happen. It's a fact, it's a reality. Now, the media, unfortunately, is part of their job. I don't think Babundo, the media, is got a responsibility to report positive stories. There are many positive stories. I'm sure it's not the first time you hear that the department led by the chair has got a clean audit. We have heard this, but it doesn't interest you to report about it. Because to report about it, it will make the chair, as a face of the ANC, to be not this corrupt leader that is being painted, to be seen by society, that leaders of the ANC are also running clean government. That is not in your interest. But I can assure you, if it got a disclaimer, it was going to be reported daily, and analysts were going to be put on news screens and be analyzed. He was going to be called, why is wearing so nice, being handsome, but getting a disclaimer. Tell us, you're handsome, yeah, you look promising, but you are running a department with a disclaimer. They have not called him to share the vision. What has he done to achieve a clean audit? Because that's profound. Because it gives him, as a chair of the province, of the ruling party, to whip municipalities, to whip every department, because he leads by an example. Because he himself is leading a department with clean audit. And unfortunately, he's going to be clean audit until 2024. Nothing is going to change now. Now, also the premier herself, the premier also has got a clean audit. Now these two leaders, the leader of the ANC, the leader of government, they are proving beyond reasonable doubt that they are clean leaders, they are leading clean government. Now, but we can't, we don't control newsrooms, you see. We don't, but also we also know that even journalists, they don't control what is fair. The journalist takes a good story, must package of a pool now. The journalist has got nothing. It's not what I really gathered on the ground, but now, but it's packaged by big bosses. Journalists, that's why some of us, we don't fight with journalists, because journalists are ordinary workers. They are just selling their labor to the system that buys their labor on a daily basis. They have no control. Sometimes they go to a story, the story is too good for the ANC. It can't be broadcast, because broadcasting the story will make things bad for other parties. Now, if journalists can't control that, we can't control that relationship. But also journalists, they must also be, because they are human beings. ANC is a big party. Some of them, you get a question, you can see, well, this is a question from a branch. The journalist prefer well. It was an internal question. Where some was internal question, you the journalist. I will ask the gentleman, who is your source first? Because you got a source most. You are speaking for a source. You are not speaking for yourself. Who is your source? Because I can see most question, I've been here. I've been in leadership position of the ANC without a break for more than 20 years. In leadership, not membership. Now I can see with I you will put on the rigidity there. Yeah, the function. By a I'm pushing back. You can also see a genuine question. This is genuine. You see, this is objective, genuine question. Then that's why I get the fight with education and I'm a journalist, but it's part of life. That's why I said there are heated moments in this field. When you are a journalist and a politician, there are two things you must know, or one important thing you must know. If you are a journalist, if you choose a life to be a journalist and a politician, your skin must be hard. It's not for weak people to speak. And your skin must be hard, very, very hard, because at some point, as you go to elections, for example, there will be heated moments, very heated moments. We know that there's a media room, we know it hires a pass when it's elections, it goes all over the country, it only look bad things. It only look bad things. You see, the first time, if I can tell you, the first time I went to Cape Town with a aeroplane, I was shocked to death. I we are now energy, illegal ANC of that time, it was still Senzo, who provincial secretary. That what I saw in Cape Town is shocking. But my word is that is not, the country is not showing this thing. The city of Cape Town, Mopuma Airport, Ut, Nadimko, in Jordan, informal settlement, very populated, very dense. That you are in Jordan, if you are trying to the airport, you don't even report on wiki. Wiki. What is not reported? In the city of Cape Town is reported as a the city of Cape Town is good in the CPT and in the suburbs. It's not good. You go to Nyanga, there, yes, it's bad. Population is bad. That's in the airport. Imagine if that thing, because the city of Cape Town in Jordan, in former settlement, is where the Betrayal Port is. The radius. The radius is where the Betrayal Port is. It's where that hotel on your when you come this side on your left is. But the city of Cape Town airport, it's informal settlement. But you can't control if the media, even our own broadcaster, our own public that we pay TV license, they don't show that they don't see any interest. I'm particularly one in last, but we are the living. The whole world must see. By the way, Umea was telling me yesterday, was telling me, in terms of a grant expenditure, the Ethekwini municipality is one of the high expenditure of grants than all metros. Is one of the leading financially viable metros in the country. So you know most metros are not many, around 7 or 8. Ethekwini is one of the best financially viable metros in the country. But that is not reported. Everything that is reported in Ethekwini is bad. Yesterday, the weekend were there in very dense. That you are already in Jordan, if you are trying in the airport, you don't even report on wiki. Wiki. What is not reported? The city of Cape Town is reported as a the city of Cape Town is good in the CPT and in white suburbs. It's not good. You go to Nyanga there, yes, it's bad. Google it is bad. That's in the airport. Imagine if that thing, because the city of Cape Town in Jordan, in former settlement, is where the Betrayal Port is. The radius. The radius is where the Betrayal Port is. It's where that hotel on your when you come this side on your left is. But city of Cape Town airport, it's informal settlement. But you can't control if the media, even our own broadcaster, our own public that we pay TV license, they don't show that they don't see any interest. I'm particularly one in last, Babi and the living. The whole world must see. By the way, Umea was telling me yesterday, was telling me, in terms of a grant expenditure, the Ethekwini municipality is one of the high expenditure of grants than all metros. Is one of the leading financially viable metros in the country. So you know most metros are not many, around 7 or 8. Ethekwini is one of the best financially viable metros in the country. But that is not reported. Everything that is reported in Ethekwini is bad. Yesterday weekend we were there in Umlazi with the Alliance. visiting all the 12 wards in Umlazi. Yeah, you can see if you go to Umlazi, and you know Umlazi, it's like you are in a different Umlazi. Umlazi infrastructure that is there. The infrastructure that is there, new infrastructure that is next to King's Wedding, next more when you pass Mangosu to, it's just a well-established and a developed townships. But that thing is not reported. If you go to Inanda, for example, you'll come into it. That development that is there was not there 10 years ago. The things have changed, but it's not reported. They report negative stories. It's not our control. But our people, because they stay in those areas, they know the truth. That's why they will continue to vote ANC. Thank you.
Thank you. We have also been joined by the newly elected provincial chairperson of the ANC, Umama Nonhlanhla Khoza. Siyabamukela mama. Let us now ask the Deputy Chair, Ms. Nomakuka, to respond.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for the questions. I will apologize, my voice is a bit hoarse. We've been in a 3-day conference that ended up in 5 days, so you will excuse us if we are unable to speak properly as women of this province. I will not respond to all questions because we are sharing them. Let me start with let me start with the question of whether the chairperson is married or not. Now, we were asking each other then, Oslado, if we want to break people's hearts or not. He is married, happily married, he said last time, but happily married as I have seen him with his wife. So, yes, that's the response, my friend. He is married. Just putting it out there. Is that correct? No, thanks, colleagues. The first question I want to respond to, Egapumlan, what gives us sleepless nights as ANC leadership is service delivery or lack thereof in certain areas. The responsibility of contesting power, as we are contesting as the ANC, is to change the lives of the people. And there are different ways that we are expected to change the lives of our communities. And if that does not happen, or does not happen as quickly as we are expected to happen, then that is what worries us. That is what frequently when we are meeting as the leadership, we look at how far are those that we have deployed into government, implementing the policies in ensuring that the lives of our people are actually improving and are changing. We sit and take stock on how far we have gone. We sit and take stock to see on whether what we are implementing is actually at the level that it should be implemented at. And if that does not happen, we then have to come back, regroup, and make sure that it happens properly. We exist to change the lives of our people, and if there are areas where we feel that is not happening, then we do get sleepless nights. So for us, the improvement and changing the lives of South Africans, but primarily the previously disadvantaged, is what we are here for. And where we think there are challenges, that is where we struggle. I hope I've responded to your question. Well, the Secretary, I think, has responded to Clive. I think I also just want to put my 2 cents worth at Clive. The first point, are we re-establishing a relationship with the media? Well, I doubt that we thought that we didn't have a relationship. Probably it was not as good as it should have been or could have been, but we still had a relationship. But the important thing about a relationship with the media is mutual respect. The important thing about the relationship with media is mutual respect. We respect the media and we expect the same kind of respect reciprocated to us. And the way you respect any organization is not to be a gossiper. Because we take journalism very seriously. We take journalism as a profession. And we believe journalism has ethics. So do not be part of our don't be part of our mud as professional journalism. Don't represent factions as professional journalists. Come to us with a genuine question. Come to us with an accurate question. Certainly, ask us about our membership. That's a genuine question. But do not ask us why is Spony so, because actually some journalists do that, and I'm just making an example. Why is Spony so not shaking hands with so and so? Yeah, I know I'm reducing it too much, but I'm just trying to make a point that if you expect us to take you seriously, you must also take us seriously. But we do take the media very seriously, and we believe the media should be a partner, not just of the African National Congress, any other political party, just so that we ensure that the lives of our people change. So what we are wanting to do today as well is to say, we respect you, please respect us back. We will never, at any given time, want to say to the media, ask us this question, not that question, but be a self-respecting journalist so that you are able to get the same respect from us. There's a question that was asked, I'm not sure who's over, there are, I think it was that table, that says there are departments that are not responding or responding as quickly as they should. I think it will help that we get a list of those so that we are able to deal with them, single generalized. And I'm happy you said it's some departments, you didn't say all. So the provincial secretary will be able to deal with those issues. Now, I think the last question I wanted to respond to Usandile. Usandile? Oh, there's Usandile. Okay, Usandile says Pixley Kaseme Memorial Hospital has been opened and not opened, or I am not sure what you mean there. Sandile, can I give you an opportunity to come back so that I respond to the question right?
I'm sorry, but your voice is very strong. So, no, I'm telling you, no, you but it tells with Inanda is strongholds ANC. But abantu bakhala ngokuthi babona sekusetshenzwa nje and already kuyenzeka nezinto lapha kuphela eziteleka ngaphandle ubone mina ngidlula ngakhona every time emsebenzini ukuthi uyavuka anytime ukuthi uyadlula umgwaqo uvaliwe nani so ileyo nto bengicacisa amen.
All right. No, thank you very much. When we built Ipixley as this ANC government, and it's one of the few hospitals that have been built during this 10-year ANC. We took a decision because the alliance in the province took a decision that we must not outsource some services, which then literally meant every single employee SSPL is insourced, which means is employed by the department. So we've employed Abataba Pegayo, we've employed the security, we've employed Abataba cleaner, everyone. Now, when we were opening, or when we were running the process, recruitment, we had to advertise. We had 1,450 posts to do, I think if I'm correct, 1,450 posts, and colleagues, we received more than 450,000 applicants. 450. And this is something we've been explaining for a while. Now, sometimes maybe it's because of level of unemployment. People, when they apply, they expect that automatically they will be called for interviews. When you apply, there's a criteria, you shortlist, you get shortlisted. If you're not shortlisted, then someone will get shortlisted, and those people now, they will go to interviews. Now go on, not just because you've been called into an interview does not mean you actually are going to get the job. So we had 400,000 applicants and 1,400 posts. So ngifuna ukukhombisa nje the magnitude. So there is a lot of people that did not go through because of the number of posts that we had. Although we tried very hard, ukwenza sure ukuthi all the posts that we had were actually dealt with through the proper recruitment process. Now, with that said, Pixley Isakaseme is not a hospital Yamashu. Pixley Isakaseme is a hospital of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Pixley Isakaseme is a hospital yaseThekwini, which means when we shortlist, we look at anyone who lives within eThekwini. We look at anyone who lives within KwaZulu-Natal. And this is the point I made when I met with communities to say, Edumbe, where I come from, we have a CHC that probably has about 30 nurses. And about 30, more than 50% of them come from eThekwini. So if abantu bakaMashu are going to say, Pixley, they must just employ nurses that come from KwaMashu, it means that Abasedumbe must also be sent back home. Because Abasedumbe must also fight that Abasedumbe bonak pelo funabakashu. So that is what we want to, that's a message we want to send to our people, that a hospital is meant to service a community in general. And when we look at a process, recruitment, we focus on the needy, we focus on the academics that are needed there. And certainly we prioritize them. But it does not mean Pixley, because it was built in KwaMashu, is only for abantu bakwaMashu. It's not true. And we can't lie to our communities and create an impression in that. Now, the majority of our strikes that we are talking about are not people who are complaining about employment, are people who are complaining about Msebenzi in Pixley. It's about people who feel that they should be getting tenders from that hospital. And they can't get tenders from that hospital because that hospital does not have tenders to offer. Because we insourced the cleaning, we insourced the security. The only other thing that is bought in the hospital are the things that are utilized in the hospital. Those are not bought within the area, they are bought at 11 province. So ama-matches are just misleading communities really, because they are led by abantu abazibiza ngosomabhizinisi, although not all of them are, but people who are abazibiza ngosomabhizinisi and who are expert. By the way, when they say you must give local businesses jobs, they mean give me a job. Because we then say yes, one of the things that we did, we've got there's a cafeteria that is there and it's run by Public Works. Public Works issued an advert, everyone applied and so forth, process was followed. But just because it was not to Sponies or it was not to Nomaku, it becomes something that is not done by the community. And yet Umutu who runs that cafeteria actually comes from the area. So as Mizindo, Ziafuna's way and the media, when it looks at them, I think must be able to balance them. I think I've responded to all the questions, Comrade Mafiga, the rest get seswali kutshele laphana. Ushilo lokubhala wathi uhensa, angazi ukuthi kumemjaje kanjani.
Yeah, no thanks. Deputy Chair, will actually no, but our department A2 actually clean audit. They are not 2, they are 6. They are 6, which is quite a great achievement. Comrade Chair, over to you to respond.
Thank you so much, Mbane. In our midst, we've been joined by the provincial chairperson, newly from the box. She's looking dapper and smart. Mayor Koza, congratulations on your election as the new chairperson The program director has also been joined by the secretary of Herigwala, Comrade Qiniso Mguni, is here representing the ANC as well. Thank you so much. Leadership have spoken at length on fundamental matters that have been raised by media, so it's just an addition I'm sure Comrade Makujwa couldn't add this ingredient herself, that Department of Health in the last 10 years, you know, the sporadic approach, they also received unqualified audit opinion. If you know Department of Health and PFMA, you'll understand the true meaning, is the gist, because it is this department that had to delve deeper on the issue of COVID during that period. And unfortunately, if you could just take their sample processes, it is this department that in some instances you can't the correlation of the issue of 3 codes. It is not possible if you understand. So we want to congratulate you as well, Comrade Deputy Chair, for those accolades. And we're glad to announce that, amongst other things, that was construed and was highlighted in the July conference on the issue of eThekwini was the issue of water. And it's part of the resolution that was encapsulated and written down by the PSO, and we had to give a mandate that eThekwini, something ought to be done. They've already conformed. They've built big aquatic pipes just to ensure that there is a proper flow. Last week, they announced 50 new water tankers so that they are able, that is in-house. At the value of 132 million, it is as a result of the push from these ANCs among the resolution that our people will be compromised if the water quality, if the water is not given to them. So they've responded, and we're glad to Comrade Provincial Secretary, because we might not have seen this, that when we visited the areas like Ochaswet and other areas, there was an issue that in some instances the veg is not done on time. They are also going to launch, they've already procured 82 new cutting tractors. So the tractor have arrived at eThekwini, so it means that there is some critical milestone, then improvement. Hence, we are clinical that eThekwini as the metro, just like what has been elevated by the Deputy Chair, that eThekwini is the metro responsible for the whole of KwaZulu-Natal, which is why you'll find exodus, people coming from their areas going to eThekwini, because in terms of industrialization, it is where you'll find almost all the type of industries that is enticing the space of our people. So we are glad that it has happened. Another thing that you will have seen at eThekwini, we've managed to change the apartheid remnants hostels into family unit these days. So the living conditions, even in our hostel, have been converted by this ANC. So it is critical that we must also highlight those things. So again, I'm sure they have responded on the SWOT analysis, but what made us not sleep is the issue of Gini coefficient. If our people still go to bed hungry, that is what worries us most. The socio-economic factors affecting South Africa as a country, the global village, you know, is highly affected these days. So that's what worries most. I'm sure you know others, or some of you thought that we are more worried about political parties. The reality is that the ANC is the only vehicle that can totally liberate our people. It's what is well known. And the real practitioners are always telling us as well that in terms of policies, you are the best designer of those. Your documents are strong enough. If you could implement all those policies, convert them into the T, nobody could touch you. It is us that are embarking on that strategy, and the analogy or our Tambo told us, our longest president, that this gigantic movement, nobody can touch it. We are still hovering in that dimension that we must just turn the things around. Our people are still yearning us for more things. So I think we are at that level. And I'm sure Provincial Secretary Hlangamandla has mentioned that the ammunition are already within our arbit. And we are going to share some of the proxies and practice on time. We are not just going to see it. It's like Kaizer Chiefs, Mezodlala, Bezo Scout about the Sundowns. So sizobeka nje izinto zethu ngoba phela nibe report nanendaweni zenu. Kodwa ke I think critical comment Mangwane ngoba angifuni phela ke senze ngathi ama journalists residing in the province of KwaZulu-Natal are not affected by the reality of the ANC leading. Some of them are comrades. Some of them are part and parcel of community. So bayayithanda bayinobekeyona membership per se. So I wouldn't want that as if ANC is not conducive for you. You are still allowed, but we are saying that ideologically, if you fall into a trap of working with this institute, using it as a superstructure to oppress the Africans in particular, then your calling is not strong enough. You must not be absorbed by the system. In media, in the international affair and an antenna has been used as a superstructure, just like judicial, just like education, just like culture, just like religion. So you must not fall into the trap of using the religion as the opium that is oppressing the people, of judicial that only characterize African only as corrupt. But you must be objective enough, and the chair is obligated to come to Ngwane and to interact with you on a regular basis. But the reality, you live in that era that in majority, Chika Onyeka is worried that we seem to be consuming everything from Caucasians, not producing, even taking our raw materials, being turned into commodity on other spaces and other countries. We ought to change the thing. We are currently doing that type of transformation, which is why we are imbued with a strategy of ensuring that when we do these changes, either way, they must be affecting you, because those who are working in the media space, majority of them have been structured. They are part of the middle stratum that has been produced by a new dispensation. Some of them are breadwinners at home because they influence the processes. So you know, if you write incorrectly about the township or the rural community that has uprooted the evil system of apartheid, fought for it, and you write and characterize it incorrect, it is also going to affect either your extended family, either the developmental pattern of our people. So government is there. I would want to also highlight, because they're looking for more. In the next few weeks, you will see on the 17th, I thought the provincial secretary is going to highlight it. You will see the premier of the province, Moses Mapita's presenting these new opportunities for the province of KwaZulu-Natal. I'm glad Babuto is going to report on this, that already 2 months ago, education has employed new education assistants, 58,000 in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. It is happening in the province. We want the reflection of those. They are training through Meseta. ETA will have the next month, we will be announcing 15,000. Shomuga has already taken them to the stadium with Minister Chikunga, 7,000 kids that have been employed. So those are vibrant processes that is going to ensure that you lubricate the status of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, because this year alone will have serious numbers, but that must be advertised. I'm glad the media is worried about us being too media shy. Comrade Murphy, the media is telling us that we don't elevate what needs to be known by the media. And that's how I'm taking it anyway. So I think that's what I want to hear from them in the process. And in this year as well, so the Siofula stage, Salembe, Eslapa Airport, Kenyanga, Makuku. So those things enziwe by this government, usizobona nje ukuthi sandisa amabhanoyi already. There is a Swatini, there is a Zambian flight that is already flying to this King Shaka airport, and it's part of our resolution ensuring that let us encroach on the network strategy. Let us sell these products called KwaZulu-Natal. Why are we different to other processes? Even our tourism department have been media shy. You go to UAE, Dubai, US, they will tell you that we don't have enough brochures coming from KwaZulu-Natal as a province. So those are the issues that we are currently changing. In conclusion, Comrade Ngwane, there is an outcry that other departments, and I agree that if we can just get closer to that process, because we want to improve. Ours is to improve, so that at the end we know the issue of outreach is a direct method of saying that we do have a traditional based door-to-door where we crisscross the province. We've been all these years interacting with our people, asking them what are their challenges. We already know through our audit, when you see us embracing or embarking on the issue of door-to-door, it is the intervention and the response type of a door-to-door, because we know what our people want. That is why we are doing more of outreach, and after that, a direct intervention from our government. Thank you so much for gracing our shores. Thank you for being here. Let us all enjoy the breakfast, be blessed at the same time. Thank you so much, Mwaka.
Very much, Comrade Chairperson, maybe or officially, asibonge bonke abantu abasijoyinile. On these issues, it relates to departments that do not communicate or that are unavailable. I think I'll be here. We'll want to have them so that we are able to assist, and if there are no improvement, we are able to act. So we'll be intervening direct as the ANC on those departments. But let us ask the provincial deputy chair to officially close this successful
No, as I've just been requested to do one simple thing, to do my closing remarks. Yeah, I will not be long. I think what we want to do as the ANC, firstly, is to appreciate the fact that you are here with us today and you were able to actually give us your time. Because we are just starting a Women's Month, and if it means we are starting it with a bang. Appreciate that media houses are here today, journalists are here today. We are here to make our firm commitment to work with yourselves, and the fact that you are here as well means you are willing to work with us. So we appreciate that, and we also want to thank you for tolerating our very rough provincial secretary. I get rough with yourself, Sipela. He's very rough with all of us as well. So what you go through, you must understand. We also go through that. And we really want to emphasize the fact that service delivery and changing the lives of Africans will only be achieved if we are able to work together, both as the African National Congress and the African National Congress-led government with the media. They will not understand what is happening. Clive was just saying now there are issues that I knew that he's hearing for the first time from the chair. It really clarifies that, it emphasizes the fact that there has been a gap between ourselves now. So we are committing that we will continue to strengthen this relationship, and we hope Nani you will be able to do so. Where there are areas of conflict, do not be shy to come to us. Provincial Secretary, if it's a Rafka Provincial Secretary, you can always go to the chair. So, you know, he'll be able to mediate whenever there are issues. But ladies and gentlemen, for coming, we hope you are going to enjoy your breakfast as it was what it's supposed to be. Enjoy this menu. Right now.